What is up, guys? Silver Warrior here, and today in this video I'm going to be discussing how inflation is designed to hurt you. And real quick, I just want to say there'll be a couple uploads today, so look out for those if you're interested in them. They'll be about some various topics in silver, maybe even something that kind of ventures beyond silver. I'm not sure yet. I'm kind of playing around with the idea in my mind. But yeah, either way, just because I don't want to start controversy and you guys be like, oh, it's not about silver. Which I understand. I mean, I'm not trying to say that's like a bad opinion to have because I can understand. If I saw a video, non-silver video personally from a silver channel, I'd be kind of interested just to see what they thought on it. But I definitely understand why you guys wouldn't want that. Either way, though, to quit wasting time, I'm going to be discussing exactly what you'd expect, and that is, how inflation is really built to hurt you in the end. And of course, if you have any like brain in your skull, you realize that inflation's not a good thing. Some people actually think it is. People be like, "Yeah, inflation's up. That means our dollar is doing better, right?" I don't know. If you're at that point, I can't even help you in this video. I'm sorry. That would take like hours probably to get through someone who's that dense. Okay, but chances are, if you're not already, informed on this topic, you do understand what inflation is to an extent. Otherwise, you wouldn't have clicked. And you know that inflation is, at the end, something that makes our currency weaker. But you might be left wondering, okay, I understand that inflation is not a good thing, but how is it designed to hurt me necessarily? How is it, what is designed about it? It's not like it's just a flaw of the government, right? And that is true. In the end, really, it does come down to the government making having a flaw. But it's not the government that produces our currency, and that's something you'd have to understand. It's the Federal Reserve that produces our money, or our currency. I didn't even mean to say money because it's really not money. That would imply it's something actually tangible, which it's not. See, it's not like there's silver certificates anymore, okay? Those are actually redeemable for silver. That would be money. But now there's a reason why we call them Federal Reserve notes, and that's because they are indeed notes produced by the Federal Reserve, an independent and private corporation that loans out currency to our government in hopes of making a profit. Now, what does that mean? Well, to sum it all up, what it means is that the more money they print, the more money they make. The more money they print, the higher inflation goes. You can do the math on that one, my friends. You see, at the end of the day, what it's really doing is it's creating a system where it's kind of like if you know anything about history, then you know what the Transcontinental Railroad was. It was really the first time that anything united the entire country. Anything ran through the whole country from one side to the other. After the Louisiana Purchase, we really hadn't explored that area very well. But long story short, they didn't say we're going to pay you for building the railroad, okay? This is how we want to build. No, they said for every mile you build, we're going to give you X amount of money. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but it was a very large sum of money per mile. And you can imagine how that went. If you can't, let me explain. You see, basically what they did is, rather than building it as directly as they could, they took a very, very, off-the-road course just to make the railroad as long as they possibly could in order to make the same amount of money or the largest amount of money that they possibly could. And the reason I pulled this analogy is not necessarily everyone knows about it, but it's something that I think is easier to understand because it's something that happened in the past and it's something you think, well, I can understand that. But it's the same thing here. The Federal Reserve doesn't give a crap about you. They don't care if you live to see another day or not. They don't care if you're impoverished. They care about making money for themselves. So they're going to produce every dollar they possibly can and make, literally in the course of a decade, our currency supply go up several times over from what it was. I mean, this is the type of printing you see from countries that are not in hyperinflation, but getting on the road to it. And hyperinflation is exactly what it sounds like. It's just a very, very high rate of inflation, something that, if you want to know a good example of it, Germany after World War One is a very, very good example. More recent one is what happened in Zimbabwe, I think, a couple years ago. It also happened in Hungary, I believe, a little bit before that. But yeah. Anyway, I'm getting kind of sidetracked here, but talking about all these other examples. But really, I want to make this video concise for you guys. I just want to pull up an example you might be able to understand. Really, though, what it is that they're just making as much money as they possibly can, because what the government has to do is they have to return the amount of money that's loaned out to them plus interest. And that means that the Federal Reserve will go and produce as much money as they can in order to make as much money as they can from our government. Okay? And who do you think is paying for this? I mean, I can give you a pretty big hint. It's you. You, the taxpayer, that's right, are paying to have your currency become worth less. I know it sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? But some of your tax money is going to go, to various things, and one of the miscellaneous things is going to be to paying off loans that the government owes, including that to our own domestic company that is literally, has the sweetest deal of any company of all time, giving us money that they're allowed to produce for free, and then getting paid interest on it in the form of, literally trillions of dollars. And that's right, you're paying taxes to keep your money worth less. Just let that sink in for a second. But either way, I do hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you learned something new from it, maybe something you didn't know about inflation before. And that is it for this one. Peace, love, and much respect.